that works. Hey guys, your Timmy here, and it's been raining for the last 2 days, which is awesome. We had a drought over the last 2 years, actually. So the more rain, the better, because we need groundwater bad in the Midwest. And the thing is, if we didn't have rainwater this year, people would start freaking starve, because we feed most of America. So more rain, the better. I mean, we do need some sunshine every once in a while, but right now it's a good balance and everything. Anyway, second announcement, new phone. Now, I have the Galaxy S3 now, and I used to have iPhone 4, and before that, Samsung Moment. So I went from Droid to Apple, and I've told you guys many times, every time I try to use the Apple product, I feel like throwing up. So after doing the iPhone and giving that a chance for a long time, I'm finally back, baby. Once you go Droid, you're no longer annoyed. Oh, slam! Drop the mic. But anyway, the reason why I'm out here, I think I'm just going to make this my standard spot, if you guys will allow me. Because this place is pretty sweet. It's nice and scenic, you know. Got the woods behind me. Anyway, this is a response to all the idiots and losers out there. Yes, I'm talking to you since you clicked on this video. I'm just joking. Nobody's an idiot, they're just manipulated. Anyway, if you can tell by the title of this video, it's Sony is no hero. Okay? I'm gonna explain to you why. And like, whenever I say something that is not supported by direct evidence, I have to put down the conspiracy warning label. So, conspiracy warning. I've done that once before, but that's the thing. So, here's what it says. I saw on Hard News that EA heard that Sony wasn't doing DRM, and they had a little mini panic of sorts, and the president called a quick meeting to address the issue of Sony not doing DRM. And they said that Sony had told them that they were going to do DRM like Microsoft. Interesting. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's such a huge deal. Okay? Huge deal. First off, let's make some logical statements. What would Sony gain by saying that they would do DRM but not? What would they gain? Possible ways just to impress EA and get them on their side, but they changed their mind on that. So I would say that changing your mind on a promise gets you even worse off with the publishing company. That's the only way I can think about it, really. So why would they say that? And also we take into account who said they would do DRM first. Now, if Sony did it first, why, if they weren't going to do it after all? And if Microsoft did it first, then why would Sony jump on the bandwagon and then pull back out? I'm trying to see what is the advantages that Sony was getting from these things. So it's kind of interesting. You have to think, what was Sony gaining by saying they would have DRM? Well, if Microsoft said they were doing DRM first, there would be no advantage. It would just be an act of, we changed our mind because we looked at the polls, right? then why were they quiet about it all the way up to here? Why would they, and this is the thing, why would they tell EA that they were doing it? I mean, I could imagine not telling the public because, hooray, E3, major announcement, Captain Sony saves the day, right? I can imagine that, but why would they tell EA? Interesting. So, conspiracy alert, what if Sony said they did DRM first? So Sony tells EA, look, we got this major thing, can we get maybe a deal out of you guys at EA if we had a DRM setup? And EA would be like, yeah, I think we can work something out. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Jeez. And then Sony goes back into the corner and goes, our grand plan has begun. And so EA goes to Microsoft and says, no, Sony told us that they were going to do DRM. And we're going to make the games cheaper for them if you don't do the same. Or some other, like, deal. Right? And EA and Microsoft is like, okay. I mean, a lot of our stuff is online anyway, so who cares, you know? I'm not going to make Microsoft a hero because both companies, as I said, are most likely villains. I mean, companies by default are all about money. They're not here to make you happy. They're not people. So Microsoft was like, okay, whatever. I guess we'll do DRM. And so the wheel starts going. The drama starts going, right? And eventually we come up to E3. And the great announcement. Microsoft announces we are going to have DRM. An idea that was initially started by Sony. And then Sony pulls out at the last minute, betraying their promise, but in the end getting bonus points from the people who are be buying consoles more often. Victory for Sony. Now, isn't that interesting? It's quite ingenious, in fact. You start a fire. This is an analogy of what happened and what gamers are doing, in fact. So Sony throws like a torch into a forest, and the forest starts to burn down, right? And then they get praised because they built their house flame retardant. Isn't that kind of sick? You're praising a company for destroying their competition in a way that harms you. Because competition is always good. Always good for the consumer. Always. Sony, they took care of that. An expert move. Genius. You know, I'm a fan of the BattleTech series, and if you guys know what I'm talking about, it's the Mech Warrior series. And there's schemes, political schemes, that are in those books that I'm like, wow, that was really in-depth and really well thought out. And Sony, bravo. I mean, bravo. I mean, I haven't seen a scheme this well thought out and well implemented before. I mean, good job. You're not a hero. In fact, you're kind of a douche. But, bravo. I mean, you're smart. You killed your competition. A competition that was, to be honest, had more than you. They were leagues ahead of you, in fact, in technology of the future. better software to connect. But then you said, you know what? We're going to set their house on fire. We're going to set the whole forest on fire. And we're going to protect ourselves before that by pulling out. Make it a flame retardant house. Amazing. But Sony's no hero. Really? It's just a smart move. Now Microsoft, why didn't they pull out? Well, like I said, they aren't a hero either. Most of their stuff is online. They got the Skype, the TV, the everything, so they don't see the huge fallout that comes from not requiring the internet, because 99% of their services are on the internet. Unlike Sony, who were based upon graphics that were that much better. And probably going to be second-hand games, development-wise. Interesting. So, Sony is no hero. The gamers have been screwed over. By both companies. Don't get me wrong. Both companies screwed the gamers over. But what can you do? I mean, companies aren't people. They're just there to make money. And whatever way possible, they're going to do it. This has been your Toomey asking you, are you ready for the Tombsday? Peace.